Well, greetings from Just Car People Things. Wanted to take a few minutes and work on this super fun piece of automobilia that my dad found. He worked for General Motors for many years, and a dealer was going out of business, and he drove through the back of the dealer as he was leaving work, and they actually were taking this out to the trash. And it's a really neat lighted Buick sign. I've never really had a Buick performance car. I suppose I should ditch the Camaro here and go to a Grand National now or something, but it's really neat. It's a neat kind of older piece. It's pretty heavy, and you know, I wanted to swap the lighting in it. It's got some fluorescent bulbs in it, and if you plug it in right now, it just it doesn't seem to really be working. The ballasts are shot in at least one of them. Well, you can see here when I go to plug it in, this is just, there's no switch, it just plugs in, and we're not getting a lot of love here. I don't know if there's something to be maybe jiggle or shake or something, but oh yeah, hey look, there we go, one of the ballasts slid off. Yeah, that's not looking great. So there's a couple bulbs in there. I think it's got like two, and obviously this way predates LED lighting by any stretch. So we're gonna come through, and I'm thinking what we're gonna do is just relight it. We're gonna remove the existing electricals from inside of it, run some LEDs, replace this old cable here and cord, and be able to go from there. So first things first is we're going to take away the electrical power before we you know, blow our eyebrows off. We're going to look like Beaker from the Muppets. Got here this is a fun item I picked up when I was just at Road America recently. Scored a tire off a Lamborghini Trofeo car. This is a right rear. Took some impact damage down here, and ended up being in the discard or scrap pile. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cheat our way into a table here. We're just going to throw a scrap of carpet on top of it, and it's actually just about the perfect size to work on this. So we'll toss this up, set that right there, nice and protected, and look at that. Hey, a work table, magic. So we are unplugged here. Yeah, we've got place with Circline fluorescence, and this was made by DCI Marketing in Milwaukee, and DCI was GM's internal service, like marketing agency. So got a bunch of little acorn nuts in the back here, 6 of them it looks like. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right there, 6. And this is, somebody put some wire hanger on it. We can just set those right there. We'll probably lose all those by the time we're done. And let's pull this guy off, see what we get. Just give it a little shake. Okay, so this is the guts of it here. This doesn't really, not too impactful for us here, but this is what actually matters. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, that's super fun. So we've clearly got some really old ballasts. Look at this. Man, I'm actually really glad I wasn't using that long term. That stuff is just torched. So you've got power in here. So let's just start by taking things apart. I think that's probably the easiest way to go about this. Pull the wire nuts. This wire nut is literally, the plastic's coming apart in my hands. Boy, I'm glad we're getting rid of this, that's for sure. Pull all these apart. Just go from there. We'll want to take the well, we'll just probably pull this all out together. We'll pull that out, pull the bulb out. Start with the bulbs. These are fragile. They're full of stuff that you really don't want to be breathing in. Sylvania, cool white. Geez, I wonder if there's a year on these. Probably about 1980. We'll set those over there. Same thing with this guy. Unplug. Boy, you can tell this thing ran just about 24 hours a day. It must have been plugged in at a dealer. And look at the yellowing on that plastic. So those things have been around the block, that's for sure. So we've got these ballasts inside here. And got a bunch of wiring we don't really want anymore. Probably remove. Figure I'll just grab a crescent wrench and zip these off real quick. They're flush on the back. They're actually mounted to this panel, so there's no way to get at those from underneath. So I think we'll just come in with a crescent wrench and manage that real quick. here we are back with our crescent wrench. I'm just going to come in and see if we can't buzz these off here real quick. Shouldn't take too much. These don't really hold a lot of, don't exactly have the torque of God on them, so you should be able to just spin each of those right off. There's one. This is kind of a neat little marketing piece that that GM would have, you know, at their dealers, and this probably was lit 24 hours a day in the front room of a dealer, a Buick dealer. You know, this rebrands that occur over time with a lot of the dealers mean that the decor every 10-15 years changes, shifts around, and you had to get rid of these things, and that's just how it goes sometimes. So cool score. This is the ballast here. This is what actually drives the fluorescence and provides the right, you know, electricity to the fluorescent bulb. Robertson transformer. You could probably get a replacement for this and continue running these circling bulbs, but you know, we're in the age of LED now, and I think that it's probably just better just to switch all this right over to like an LED format. So split that apart. Let's see if we just can't knock this guy off. It was one of the more interesting times, I think, in my dad's career when he worked for General Motors, and he would travel regionally and call on dealers. He was the factory rep for dealerships, for GM at dealerships, and that was always I feel like a bit of a job that was a trip, and it was a little bit a while ago, back in the 70s and 80s, and kind of, you know, just right at the start of computerized inventory and computerized controls, and it was a kind of a wild time, I think, to be in the dealer business. It still is today. So now we've got all these guys out and gone here. I think that's good to be rid of those. And so what we're left with now is just a shell. And I'll mention too, I've been really trying to buy better quality tools. I was for a long time a big Harbor Freight guy. But I've started to buy more, if I can, buy American or buy an American company that I really like. And Channel Lock makes really nice stuff. So I actually scored, this is Spanish of all things, but Channel Lock's line of adjustable wrenches is made in Spain. Their more traditional grippers are made in the, and pliers are made in the United States. But these are a great little tool. Not too much more than what you pay elsewhere. I think we're probably going to end up having to pop the actual power cord out of this, and we'll probably want to clip that ground wire too, or at least pop it off there. Back to the channel lock, or the pliers again, or excuse me, crescent wrench again. Let's get down on this. There we go. Time to cooperate. Shoe fly. All right. So I'm wondering if I can't just kind of almost knock that right out of there. I don't want to do any damage here, but doesn't seem to want to budge. Sorry for the noise, YouTubers. What do we got here on the back? There's one of the bolts I missed. Okay. Oh yeah, that did pop it out. There we go, look at that. All right, we're through with that. That's good, very good. And I think if I'm gonna mount the lighting in it, I'm probably gonna wanna go inside the actual logo here and have it light this way. And I think the way to accomplish that is I picked up online, there's our super cool chair from the 70s that I inherited and cleaned up. It's still looking really good. So I went online and I had a similar set of these and used them for under cabinet lighting. These are about 15 bucks on Amazon. There's 100 different brands. I can't tell you one of them is particularly better than the other, but the thing that attracted me to these is you can cut them, these LED strips to length. They've got a nice little controller that we can kind of bury somewhere around here. They've got some clips that come with to help you retain this stuff, and usually it's sticky on the one side. So the way that it works is this has like a 3M, you can see right there, 3M tape, comes on a reel. Here's your cord. We'll run our cord up through the inside, through that opening right there, and we can probably even reuse. Boy, I bet you we can even oh, look at that. You can even reuse that. It's just magic. Isn't that fun? That protects that. We'll throw that right through there. And we'll get that squared away right into there. Isn't that nifty? And that retains that plug, but it's a little tight, so we're gonna, it kind of locks it. So we're gonna, you know, run the cabling out as long as we need, and we're gonna solve that here, probably in our latter stages. So we can ditch this. This does have a control box to increase the intensity and change stuff. We might be able to hide that on the back and come through on the back side and kind of hide it out behind it, but we'll see how it goes. We'll just kind of play with this a little bit and see if we can't get this placed the way we want to place it. You'll note that this is a lot more length than we probably need. I think this is 16 feet of this, and the way that it works is there are actually cut lines in it, and you cut. You can see there's actually a very tiny pair of scissors, maybe right there, and that shows you where you cut. So you can cut this down to length. But what we'll want to do is, can we remove this all together right off the, yeah, we can. So take this pretty hefty piece of plexiglass off. Look at that magic. Set that right over here. Try not to drop or scratch it up too bad. Ooh, we could stand cleaning underside that too. All right. What we don't want to do is lose these spacers, because I don't want to figure out how to build those again. So we're going to set those again over here. And this leaves us with this. And well, you can tell it was sitting somewhere for a hot minute, but yeah, we're going to get some glass cleaner and be right back with you guys. And we're back. So I got a little bit of one of my favorite glass cleaning products, which is Stoner's Invisible Glass. And this is kind of great all-purpose cleaner. We got a decent, fairly clean microfiber rag here. Is that that's just a fuzz. All right, we'll just come in and we'll do kind of that initial pass just to clean this up a little bit. Clearly hasn't been done in an awful long time. There's dirt accumulated at the bottom. Yeah, look at that. Woo! Okay, that started clean. So we'll just come through and wipe this down. This is going to make the lighting brighter on the other side. So when you look through and see it from the other side, it's going to appear brighter and a little bit nicer. Obviously, we're not worried about scratching or damaging this surface. It's a nice surface right here to work from. And now we're just going to come in and kind of start thinking a little more critically about how we're going to arrange our lighting setup. So we're probably going to want this control box and control unit to come out. And it's going to need to plug in to this guy right here. Are we going to want to go through that? And so this is outside on the back. Well, let's think about that for a minute. Or is it just going to be on all the time? I think we're going to want to come through that hole as well, and the power cable will go through that. But we're going to want to snake that through here, and then through there, and then on the inside of the unit itself. So let me think a little bit about how this is all going to ram and jam together. I may also want to think about mounting it even like on the outside, like right here. We could put a little hole in it. That's certainly an option. I don't know if I really want to. All right, well, let me do a little fitting and figuring here and kind of come back to you guys here in a minute. All right, so we're back, and I think we've figured out how this is all going to go, but one of the things I want to do is real quick, just you can see how dingy this plexi piece is here and how much crapola is sort of all over it. And this was sitting in my dad's basement for a while, probably a better part of a decade, and just might be a good time just while it's sitting here on the ground to clean it up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. And you can just see, again, we're continuing to just pull a lot of dirt and junk just off of it. And we'll hit this again real quick with a little more invisible glass. This is a perfect application for glass cleaner, plexiglass cleaner. This is really what it's for and how it works. And this will make it look a lot better when it sits on the wall. Nice white, fresh painted wall here. It's nice to be able to hang it up and have it look good when it gets up there. So I think the way that we're going to have to do this is we're going to have to kind of route all of the wiring starting from the back end first. We're going to have to run this through there, then through here, then into here. So the easiest way to do this is probably going to be to take this guy, set it back into place, kind of float it back down on its mounts here. We got the front. Okay, perfect. And from here I can get my hand in there and install the tape that actually is this material. But for that, of course, we're gonna have to unspool the whole thing, all 16 feet of it, get it all unwound. And I'm thinking probably two full wraps around the inside, you know, like this, basically stuck in here will probably do it. So let's start with just getting this piece here, looping through here. And what we'll then do is we'll mount all the control box and everything else externally on the back side of this unit. There is room, it's flush enough to be able to do that. So here we are coming up, there's our control box. So we'll just take this guy, and we've got some room. See how this kind of hangs off the wall? I think what we'll want to do is get it set up so that wire can just be the only thing that hangs down. Probably want to just set that, well, I want to make sure that wire's hanging in the right spot. So, how do we want to run that? Maybe vertically, and then if I need to reach the power, I can just do so right there. I think that's probably the smartest way to do that. So let's peel the tape off. I need to like tip the unit forward. This will be pretty easy to access, and it looks like this the way that it's designed, that's pretty close to actually flush right across there. So that works really well. And if I need to, I can always do a little loop here, and that will give me a nice clean install when you come in with the power underneath. One thing I do always recommend doing with anything electronic that you get, now that we're in a nice, safe, secure stow position, we're not working with any open electricals, we're going to want to plug that in and see if we have, hey, let there be light. So there we go. I don't want to go through the whole process of doing all of this and then realize I've set myself up for a lot of pain. These are single color white LED, and so this is the brightest setting, and I think by the time we're done we can do 2 or 3 wraps. We might as well use all of it on the inside and really light the interior of that box up nice. So that'll be perfect. Then this little tiny cord, this little white cord here, will be all that hangs down. We're going to unplug, get ourselves back into a safe spot. We'll work with the electrics, and I'm just going to set this right there for right now, and that will allow us to then start installing this. So probably going to want to start working from the far end here, whenever I find it. I made myself a giant mess, as I usually do in life. Actually, maybe I want to start from this end, now that I'm thinking about it, and then we can just feed it in. Let's toss all that over there. We'll just start peeling here. And this is peel and stick, kids. So my recommendation is to go to town with it, and it'll slot right on. It'll stick right in, and you don't ever have to worry about this stuff moving. It's so light that it really doesn't move once it's stuck down. This is really pretty easy stuff to manipulate and work with. So just take your time, work your way around a couple times here. We'll do a few passes, and we're just going to keep going right around this top edge, and maybe we'll work our way down as we get the rest of the way around. So keep going down here. There we go. Nice tight onto there. And try not to touch the adhesives when you're working on it, because you know that stuff from your fingers are what will really weaken the adhesive over time. I'm trying. Trying. It's going to be like the world's longest video that no one's going to want to watch, but you know, this is something fun to do, and it's a chance to spend $15-20 bucks and maybe half an hour of your time and really restore a cool kind of family heirloom piece that you don't necessarily get everywhere. This was something my dad had to run over the other night and just had to give to me, and I appreciate that. This is pretty cool. So if this starts getting in the way or starts getting annoying, you can always trim that portion of the tape off. But we'll just come through and we'll kind of keep working this around. It would have probably been easier to drill in a little hole and mount that box externally, but it wouldn't have been quite as clean, and I think it wouldn't have looked quite as nice. So for people like me who are, you know, excellent at spending way too much time on stuff that's dumb, silly, and junky, this is the perfect solution. Perfect solution. So we'll just kind of work our way around here, make sure that's all tight on there. As usual, it's the hillbilly roundy round 500 outside traffic. All right. This is one of the tougher spots to get into. This is a good job for if you have children. I do not, but if you have children, this is a great job for the smaller hands of a 7 or 8 year old. That's a perfect slave labor gig to give them. So, nope, just tore that off. And how do we restart that? We can just pick at it a little bit. That'll happen sometimes, especially if, you know, this material sat outside today on a pretty hot day while it was delivered from online, and sometimes you can get that adhesive to just not be super cooperative, but that's okay. We're good. We're back. So we'll just keep going here. How much do we have left? That's probably enough to do almost one whole round there. It's probably perfect. So we'll just keep working around. I'm going to do a second layer kind of below the first layer, first line of lights, and that'll work out really nicely, I think, especially here over time, that it'll give you that double ring kind of effect inside, and will light really more evenly across. So you want to try not to bend this product too much. You can get away with a little bit of it, but like in the corners, you'll notice I'm not like jamming a 90 into a corner. That's kind of a bad idea with this sort of product. I used a similar brand on my under cabinet lighting, and I did multicolor, and it's app controlled, and you can have a lot of fun setting it with the app settings and doing stuff like that. So we'll just work our way around here. We're almost done. Got probably another foot or two left here, and I think if I do 2 full wraps, if we get 2 full wraps out of it, we'll be perfect, and I might just trim any excess beyond there. So just keep working our way. Come in under that little bolt there, and getting all the way down here. It's for the skinny armed among us, that's for sure. Wearing my nice Seiko 62 MAS reissue, one of my absolute favorite daily wear watches that I've got. Really sharp, anyways. Whenever you're working on stuff like this, you got to distract your brain while you're doing those little rote tasks, trying to figure all this stuff out. So here we go, and looks like we're closing in on just about done here. Get that down into that corner, and yeah, look at that, exactly 2 wraps. That's perfect. So that worked out really well. We'll just get that across here, and I think once we round that corner, let's just use it all. There's no downside. So keep the continuity of the system and make sure we get everything stuck good and all that fun stuff. So we'll just come back through with the last row of the lighting here, and I think we'll be good to go. So just wedge that down right into the bottom. So we'll just go around now and make sure we're stuck, so to speak. Just use your hand and flatten it all out. Make sure the LEDs are all flush. And actually, you're really getting the most out of that adhesive and the product itself. And I think that looks pretty good right there. Let's do another test fire here just to make sure we didn't break anything or blow anything up. And hit the button. Maybe. Am I hitting the right button? No, I'm not hitting the right button. There we go. Perfect. Man, that's going to look super cool all lit up. That is awesome. All right, well, let's finish slapping this thing back together. And got a fair amount of extra cord here. I think I can. We'll figure out kind of how we want to handle that extra cabling. We might just be able to loop it now that we're not, oh, my motion sensor forgot I was here. Might just be able to actually loop this stuff up through here and utilize the old clasp system from when it was powered originally. So there we go. Okay, that works. Oh, I need the spacers. I almost forgot those guys. These 6 guys here need some day jobs. I'm gonna put those back on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's number 6 hiding right there. Perfect. So we'll get those all set on, wedged on there just like it sat originally. And we got a little, see there's a little cable wedge there. There, perfect, perfect, perfect. We're gonna grab our acorn nuts, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we'll leave that on there. I don't know if we'll end up utilizing it. It makes me a little nervous because that's a lot of weight on that one nut, but it had some mounts here. But obviously you have to level and balance and make sure it's squared up when you go to drill your holes. So we'll get that guy in there. Clear this out. Perfect. We'll leave that like that. Nice little channel there for that wire to come out of. And this is much less noticeable than that big long black cord that was on there. And let's see what we get. So we got this all together. This did come with some clips too for retention if you need them. And that might be a good item for right here. Or no, this is for the, well, no, that'll work. Okay, this will work. This is for the cabling inside, but I think actually what we can do is we can just slot that right there, and that will, on a 3M basis, kind of hold that wire in place in that little channel. That'll be just right. So toss all this stuff aside here. We got a little bit of trash. That's how it usually goes with these types of projects. You end up with a bunch of junk. Sometimes it works. And let's see what we got. Let's flip her over. And man, talk about restored to its former glory. That's so cool. Let me back up and let you guys take a look at it. That's perfect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And this is an app-controlled system. So what we'll do now is we'll get the laser level and the tape measure out, and we'll get it hung up. And we'll shoot a little video of it hanging on the wall lit. Well, we've got a cool spot here on the wall that I actually have access to power. And I think I can move this propeller here, and that Buick logo will fit really cool right there. One of the big things for me is that everything on the wall in the garage has a story behind it, or came from somewhere neat, and that's going to be an opportunity to use that big Buick piece there to put right here on the wall. Well, you might be wondering why I'm now over here with the lights turned off, and well, short answer is that's the best way that the laser level works. And we've got our super fun Franklin Sensors stud finder. I love this product. This has got to be one of my favorite home things. It shows you with multiple sensors where your stud is. So as we go to mount, we now know exactly where to hang. Easy peasy. Yeah, we got this up on the wall. It seems like it's pretty close to level. Pretty close, probably about as close as we're gonna get, you know. One thing I can't stress enough, if you're doing stuff like this around your house, spend the $80 or $90, buy yourself a laser level. These things are life-saving. Threw some screws in, got the stud finder. She's on the wall, and man, that looks super cool. I actually, I'm kind of tempted to turn the lights off in here and just leave that running and see it, but I don't know. The only problem is it's not a Chevy logo or a Honda logo. I guess you just can't have everything. But man, it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. Well, now I just want to leave it on 24 hours a day. That is so cool. That literally, it lights the whole space. Kind of gives a nice glow across the garage. And wow, that's awesome. So hey, just want to take a minute, say thanks for tuning in to us here at Just Car People Things. We're super happy with how this project turned out. Quick 20-minute project, cost us about $20 total, and managed to get this super sweet Buick sign lighted and up on the wall. And it's gonna probably be our garage night light. These LEDs don't really draw anything in terms of power, and they'll be just perfect for this. So thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing. If you have any questions, always happy to chat in the comments. Drop us a line. Thanks.